Welcome to Fabulous Fridays.
Oh, Fabulous Friday and crucial
Casual.
casual
Casual.
casual conversations with Ms. Ramirez, Dr. DeVries, and the Success Engineer. Today we're talking about doing what you love and the process of getting to that point of doing what you love. So I recently had a post or posted on Facebook. Would you spend 20 years of your life struggling and being broke to create the life that you always dreamed of? Would you spend 20 years broke and struggling to create the life that you dreamed of? So, I mean, I only got one reply, but
I said, that's me right now.
Okay.
Like 22 years after graduating, or like the
After
start of your
graduating
life?
high school. So, I mean, wherever the 20 years start, I'd started after high school. That's what I'm thinking. Like, you're an adult, you can start making some of your own decisions, and that's the average of how much time it takes to really get on your feet. Because if you look at it, you go to school for 4 to 5 years sometimes, and then for undergrad or grad school is 6 to 7 years. That's 6 to 7 years after graduating high school. Then you have to work in your field or find your good place to work or something that takes 3, 4, 5 years. You had 11 years by then, and then you have to build whatever you got on top of that. You already at 15, 16 years in. So it's not an outrageous um, number, 20 years, but it also goes to the marshmallow experiment. The marshmallow experiment is an experiment they did with children, who they gave all the children, all the kids, one marshmallow, and they told them, if you can eat the marshmallow now, but you won't get more later, or you can save the marshmallow now and get another however many later. And they found that the kids that waited and got the extra marshmallow, over time they became more successful than those that took and ate the marshmallow right off the bat. So it deals with instant gratification and actually holding off and delaying the reward for a longer period of time. Because usually in success, you can it not to say that struggle is required. It's the ability to um, get over adversity, overcome adversity. And adversity comes in different ways, different circumstances, those different types of things. But um, are you willing to go through that? If you knew that you were going to be able to live the life of your dreams or whatever you dreamed of, would you be able to do that, Ms. Ramirez?
Yep, I would. I think I'm working on that right now. Like I'm not saying I'm miserable or anything of the sorts, but definitely, after high school, moving away from home, not too far, but like enough to make sure I become more independent. Sacrificing right now, like by living at home and not moving out. It's, and I'm not saying that like I don't enjoy being at home, but definitely after you come home from after 4 years of living by yourself, there's a big culture shock even in your own home, because you get accustomed to doing things and your own time, and I have to like compromise and things like that. So like making those sacrifices, like to stay home and start saving money, um and like getting this job. Like I was never expecting to become a college advisor, but like here I am. I love it, but this is not like my dream. Like this is not my big dream. And um I knew from the jump that I wasn't gonna get to my dream or my dream place until like later on, probably my 30s, late 30s. And I'm fine with that as long as it works out. Like I'm willing to work in and put in that work during my like quote unquote youth. I think this is the pre-youth. And once you get to your late 30s and 40s, I feel like that's when you really start living and you start.
Hey, yay! I'm on that side of it right now. Hey, I can tell you it's lovely on this side. This is the
That's
best side,
right.
especially like because like I grew up with a lot of people that at no disrespect to it, whatever you want to do in your life. I don't care what you want to do, and I say that all the time. Like this is my interpretation of life, but when I look at people that I went to high school with or people I went to church with or whatever, and they got married early, like and like after high school, and they had kids, like you don't get to focus on yourself as much as you could if you were by yourself, right? And like I said, no disrespect to how you want to live your life, but for me, that wasn't even after grad school, that wasn't even a logical thing for me to even contemplate of marriage, family, different things like that. Like I told you, $24,500. You can only do so much with by yourself with $24,500,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, even in that time after grad school, like it was the middle of the Great Recession. I didn't know about it, but um, I had to sacrifice some things. Like you said, you kind of have to sacrifice fun sometimes. A lot
Right.
of people are having a lot of fun at a young age right now, and you could spend those years developing your skills, your talents, whatever, and be at a way better place. But I mean, yeah, it's like
It's all about how you want to invest your time and your money because when you get to college, you have a lot of time. And you might not have a lot of money, but sometimes you find yourself with the money that you have. It's like your friends want to go out and they want to party, and you're like, dang, like you could invest. Like it's. I feel like it's easier for people to like spend on stuff that they might not necessarily need instead of like saving it and investing in their dreams. And like not just like you said,
do
like
they
not just like everyone's able to like do whatever they want with their money. It's your money, you earned it. But it's like at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you have something to fall back on. So like for me, you know, I'm like right now for me, like I'm saving up. I'm if my friends ask me to go out, I'll probably go out. But like there's certain like I always say like I'm broke, and I'm not really broke. It's just I'm broke when it comes to that type of money to spend. So you have to make that your mentality because it's like yeah I do have money, but it's like that money is in my savings. That money is for my house that I'm gonna buy like in a year or two. Like you know what I mean? So it's like I'm broke. Like my mentality is I am broke because like when it comes to let's go out, let's go eat, let's go do this, let's go, and I'm just like I can't. Or you guys want to come over and watch a movie? Like I have Hulu, I have Netflix, I have Disney Plus. Like we can stay in. I have popcorn, and it's like where you invest your money and your time, it really does. It is gonna make an impact in your life. So for me, I think 20 years, yeah, I would. So then later on, you can imagine like when you get to your 40s and you're big boy chilling.
in a Tesla Roadster and Lamborghinis? Dr. DeVries, you want to chime in on this?
Well, I guess I've had my 20 years of building. I've had a lot more than that. Um, I mean, uh, I just feel like it's day to day, step by step, making decisions that are gonna get you where you want to be. I was never one of those people who had like this dream, like, oh, when I'm this age, I'll have this, and when I'm this age, I'll have that. Reverse engineering is not my skill set.
So to that point is that you don't necessarily know. Like I didn't know what I was going to be or what my dream life was going to be in college, in grad school, even a little bit after grad school. Like I didn't know what that was going to look like. So it took me that long to understand some things about myself and what was going to put me in the perfect position to live the life that I dreamed of. Mm-hmm. And that dream is often whispered, never shouted. So mm-hmm. if you are looking for your passion, your purpose and stuff, it's the things that you're not really paying attention to that are going to contribute to what you think your dream is going to be. And then I talked to a older gentleman, and I wanted to, like, I was just picking his brain as an Uber driver. He said that like his kids are doing well, and he always instilled in them goal setting. And he said my word, or the word that I use with my coaching clients, we gotta put ourselves in a position to pivot. We have our goal, we set the goal, but we become better in the route of the goal. So even if that goal looks something different, like if you wanted to be a dentist and you get through 4 years of school and you graduate and say you don't want to be a dentist, you don't have to fall back. It's a pivot. You're using whatever you had to make another decision at that point in time, because you learn, you grow, and now you can make a better a decision about what you want to do next. So to your point is that it might take you some time to figure it out. Not a lot of people come from a household that is set up for them to think in those terms, because if you're struggling with money makes you make worse decisions. And so you're not thinking logically when you have to make money. And it might take you 10 years to start making the money that you that can put you in a comfortable place to start making more wise decisions. Because over my lifetime, people were like, oh, you should save, you should do this, you should invest, how you going to do that with $24,500? Like, I'm just barely living over here. You asking me to invest? Then I got to pay tithes. Not to bring religion in this, but if you have to pay tithes, that's 10%, right? So and stuff gives it taxes, like all of this stuff gets cut off. And I'm looking at my bank account like, what am I doing? And people thinking I'm living a great life. And I'm like, okay, like I'm not living a great life. But in 2022, it'll be 20 years. And through all that struggle, I think I will be able to create the life that I really want. And that is powerful to me. And I think, and everybody can do it. I'm just here to help people do it in less than 20 years. If you're a college student or a high school student, I want you to do your whatever you want to do for 4 years. If you go to school for 4 years. I want you to get out and be able to be at a place to where you're able to make 20 years down the line decisions that will help you out. And yeah, I tell people, make that money, go make that money, but also work on your character at the same time.
Work that money, don't let the money work you.
So I guess I have a question about, our title is Do What You Love. Do you feel like you're doing what you love right now?
Yeah, I always have. So, um, it's not the it's not exactly what I want to do, but it's on along those lines, and that's what I think. If 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 we, I only took jobs that were um, in the path that I was supposed to go in. So I could like I knew the regional manager for some restaurants in the city, right? And he was like, I wanted to hire you for a restaurant manager position. That's $80,000 a year, you know. But that's not in the path of what I wanted to do. So I would have got taken off, and then I would have wasted some years. I would have got the money, but I wasn't thinking at the right wavelength to say, I'm gonna go get the money, save it up, and go, you know, do whatever afterwards. Like I wasn't in that mindset. So, but I wanted to be in the field. So I only took things that were in my in the path of what I loved. Like I wanted to work with students that come from a similar background. Like I wanted to be in that realm. And I think that you have to be immersed um, in your craft to really master it, and just being a part of it in different in elementary education, higher education, secondary education, just being in that field or in that realm, I was going to learn more in the realm than I was going to do as restaurant manager. And I hated the smell of restaurants, like your clothes after being in a restaurant. That is nasty. So, I mean, I think the doing what I love is not exact, but it's along those lines. So I am okay with it. And I can put the same amount of energy in it as if I was doing what I actually love.
I see. That makes sense.
I would say the same. I think last episode when we talked about intent, doing things with intent, I feel like I've done things that have both been like along the lines of things that relate to what I love, and also things that will help me with my future, like my goals and my dreams. So I do them also, like there's things that I've done for intent. So like I feel like right now, like this job, like I'm doing what I love, which is kind of like MT said, like being around students that have a similar background as me, being able to give back to KC. That's like my main goal, I guess. One of my main goals is like to help as many like students who probably have shared the same struggles that I did in high school, help them have a easier path into college, making sure I give back to Kansas City, trying to create my own legacy like Mr. Kaufman and how he helped me. So um, like I'm doing things that I love, and then also things with intent. You know, like right now, I'm in the alumni council, like the Kaufman Alumni Council, and so being a part of that, like that's with intent, like the intent to continue to stay close to the Kaufman legacy and continue to give back to the community, kind of like Mr. K did. And then like I'm just building off on that, and just trying to make sure that I continue to find a space or like a job that allows me to help those students. um like right now, honestly, like I'm not scared to say, like honestly, like after my 2 years are up at the college advising corp, like I don't know what I'm gonna do next. Like I don't have a set plan, but I'm for sure like starting to think about it and planning for it. But I don't have a set plan, and I probably, honestly, I won't have a set plan until the last minute, because that's just how I am. That's just who I am. I mean, I applied for this position like not last minute, but like I did apply last minute and hope for the best. Like
Well,
this
we're
was
gonna try to help you out on that. Like we don't we don't want you to wait that long. Like we now that we know, now there's something
like
we know.
like right. And so like I said, like I'm doing things like with intent. So like with the alumni council, like I'm like we do a lot of professional development, and one of the things that they're gonna help me out is like trying to plan like for what's next. Because honestly, like I'm just here thinking, I'm like, I don't know, like there's so many things I want to dabble in, but I'm not like 100% sure, and it's fine to like I have a set goal and dream, and how I'm gonna get there is just we'll see, like we'll see
Yeah.
how it goes. Because when I was in, when I was younger, like I always thought I was like, yeah, by 25 I'm gonna be graduated from college, getting a house with a significant other, maybe my first kid. And now that I'm 22 and I'm just like, yeah, did I say 25? I meant maybe 28. And but it's fine, and it's just like that's how it is. Like life.
That's the pivot. That's the pivot, and that's the I call it the relaxed vision of the dream or of the goal. So
Because like before,
yeah,
I used to be like, dang, why would you have kids after 25? Like, 25 is a good age to start. So, you still have energy. And now I'm just like, if I had a kid right now, like, it doesn't matter if I'm 22, I would not have no type of energy. I'm like, it's okay for your timeline to switch around.
and those timelines aren't set by us usually. Those timelines are set by society, friends, family, all of that stuff. So that's the stuff you have to weed out throughout your those quote unquote 20 years of struggle and being broke. Like you have to weed out the thoughts that aren't yours and shoot.
It's tough because you get on social media, and like right now all my peers are like they're either married with kids or married with kids. Like it's like narrowing down to who's single, or if they're single they might have a kid or two. And I'm just like, okay, well,
Hey, trust me, on the other side is greatness. It is so lovely over here. Oh man, shoot, 2 weeks, I'll be 37 years old. It is so lovely. I got a motorcycle. I can do anything that I want. I can go wherever I want. I can date whoever I want. I mean, like people get mad at me. So me and my best friend from high school, we don't have kids. So people get mad at us because we can do whatever, and they're like, oh, you don't have kids, so you don't know our struggle or whatever. I was like, you chose to have kids. You chose to get married right out of high school. Like I don't have nothing to do with that. But our lifestyle, the way we grew up, dictated that like we had family members that had two, three, four kids and they wasn't married, or um, like they were just struggling. Our families were struggling, like, and we made that decision to. Well, I can't speak for him, but I made that decision to. I'm not gonna go that route. So whatever it takes to not have to be struggling to start out, I'm gonna have to do, and I'm gonna have to look at my life and be like, either I'm gonna put myself in position to do that, or I'm gonna put myself in a position not to do that. And now I know some of the things that they were doing to put themselves in that position. I'm not gonna do those things. So I'm gonna go to school, which nobody in my family went to school, and I'm gonna see what that route looks like. And now I'm not an example, I am the example to how you should go about it. And I'm not saying you can do whatever you want, you plan the life, but create the life. And then I would challenge you, Leslie, to look at your wording, because how you word things is powerful. So you can graduate from saying you're broke to I don't want to do that because I have these goals. That's a lot more powerful and empowering to myself to say I don't want to do that because that's my choice. Not that I gotta act like I'm broke. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, because I use strategies like that to keep me from doing things like that, but to empower yourself and to really be a creator of your life, you can say, I'm not doing that because I want this. And that makes it more powerful. That makes the universe, God, understand that you are fully committed to that goal that you have. And it will, I mean, I'm not a secret person or the secret or, you know, manifestation. I don't like those labels or words or whatever, but that's kind of what it is. It's like you're manifesting it, and you're being intentional about what you do and how you say it, because then that even looks more powerful to your friends when you say something like that. That you're leading the pack. You're leading by example. So I mean, I would challenge you to to take more control, because the faster you get control of your life and understand like your choices and be comfortable with your choices, you the better off you'll be, the more comfortable you'll be with making those decisions that will lead to the life that you want. Am I talking too much? I can stop.
No, you've got great things to say, MT. I think your story is a great one, and I think that I, I I think it's obvious to see how intentional you were even as a younger man. I mean, it's, you know, you're about to be 37. We're about to have a strawberry birthday cake for you. But at the same time, you 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 were looking at, you know, what do I want to be at 37? What do I want to be at 38? We know 38 is the magic number for you. But you did the things that you needed to do in order to get you to this point in your life. And I think that sometimes when you're a high school student, it's easy to like maybe think of something and maybe dream of something, but then not figure out what the steps are to get there. Because I mean, it seems impossible. And I mean, whether your dream is a specific career or a specific lifestyle or, you know, a specific salary, you know, whatever that dream is, it might feel like it's hard. Like I can want it, but I can't maybe ever achieve it. And what you've done is you've said, I want it, and these are the steps I'm going to have to take to achieve it. And I think that's really important for kids, for our students at Sumner who are getting ready to graduate or looking at their next steps, you know, to think about, you know, what do I need to do to get to where I want to be? And sometimes that's the hardest thing in the world to identify, is what is the next step? I mean, for a lot of students, the next step is college. And that's kind of what we do. We support them in that next step. But then how do we instill in the students that we work with that, you know, just when you're finished with college at 22, 23, you're not going to be there yet. So what do you do next? And choosing with intention and things like that, you know, I think that's a great message for us to send to students. You know, I didn't end up where I am by luck. I mean, and most people who we look at and view as successful, they didn't get there because they were lucky. I mean, there are some people who did, or who had so many advantages that, I mean, unless they were just stupid, they were going to be successful. But I mean, most of us had to work to get to our success.
So when you were saying that, I was thinking back through, and I didn't necessarily know exactly what I was going for. It was, I knew what I didn't want to do. Like I knew, I had the examples already in front of me. So I went like, these are the negatives. This is what I don't want to be. And I went the opposite way. that was the majority of my decision making. It was like, my mom didn't graduate from college, or didn't go to college, or had some college, whatever. And I was like, I don't want to do that because I see how that ended up. I'm gonna go the opposite way, right? So that was the basis of the baseline of, I'm looking at my life and looking at the negatives and seeing what I don't want to do and be, even though I don't, and then I don't know who I will ultimately become, because I don't know my, and this is like me as a 18 year old guy. I don't know what is out there, and I don't know my particular skill set or anything like that. So I was just like, I don't have these experience. My parents didn't have these experiences. I'm gonna go get these experiences. My cousins have babies and they live in a gangster lifestyle or whatever. I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna go this. I'm gonna play sports, or be into education. So and the more that you can put that off and to and to not fall into the negative, because a lot of people of color, we get stuck because we have children out of wedlock, and they're not planned, and then, like I said, you really just get stuck living your life for somebody else, which is not a bad thing, but it does hold you back from reaching your fullest potential. It hinders that progress. So my 20 years was straight on through. It wasn't a I detoured a little bit, and I got off. Like, if I would have had a child at 25 years old, one of my friends did. He had it while we were in grad school. Had her while we were in grad school. Like, I would probably still be stuck in the same town that we graduated in, and he's still there to this day. And I don't know what his plans are. He has another child that he has to take care of, but it makes it hard to move and pivot when you add extra circumstances that you could have, your decisions, your choices could have prevented, right? And one other thing, my goal was to have my life prep program or my training athletes by the age of 32. Like, that was my goal in college. So, and you'll hear it in my book, is that like like I was coming up to the age of 30, and I was like, I'm not gonna get this goal. So I either gotta look at it again and refocus, or I just have to go away from it. And I chose to hone in on it and see what I wasn't doing at that time to get what I wanted. And that was a vague goal. It was to train athletes. Then once I started studying success, and that's why we're doing this podcast, is because we want the students to understand the process of success. So I needed to see what I didn't do, or what haven't I done to get me to the place that I wanted. And then I had to be clear in what my actual goal was. That's why I started solidifying and being more intentional about my wording, like to fund and run a life prep program for disadvantaged student athletes. That is very specific. And then once you set that destination, you can like, everything in my path is headed towards that ultimate goal. Now, everything else was vague. I was trying to figure out who I was. I looked at all the negatives to begin with because I didn't understand what the future would look like. I didn't even understand in high school what it meant to have a degree and what that meant for my the money that I would make, quote unquote, because I didn't make that type of money when I got out. But I mean, if my life is different, I'm glad I took that path. And I mean, if you don't understand what the future looks like for those students out there, look at your surroundings, your environment, and look at those things that you don't want in your life and how you want to change those. That's where I would start. Then I can start making some plans. I knew that I didn't want to be a parent at a young age, so I took the necessary precautions. I knew I wanted to get an education because nobody in my family got an education. So that put me in a route to go to get to school, even though my first year, like I didn't know what I was doing. So I had to reevaluate after my first year and transfer from that school to a smaller school that helped with my coddle me a little bit throughout my college process. So it's I talk too much. I need to start talking this stuff. But I think the information is good. I mean, they like, to begin, look at those negatives that are around you. If you don't know what the future holds, and a lot of people can't do that. I had to transition into thinking long term, and a lot of people can't really, like, they get intimidated by the long term goals. I'm not intimidated by the $200,000 car that I want. I'm not intimidated by that. A lot of people do, like, they don't see themselves actually getting it. So if you look at where you are now in the present and look at the past, look at your environment, you can really start taking the steps towards that. And that's what we really want to do. Because if I did the same thing my cousins were doing, my mom was doing, the people that are around me were doing, you're gonna go in that path. You're gonna end up being like them. And if you don't, that's your decision. If you don't want to do it, then you can go this way. And there's another option for you. So we can be creators of our lives that way, and then actually do what we want and do what we love in the end.
Got some wise words there.
Thank you. I wish I could do this like when I'm sitting here and I got a video camera by myself talking about this stuff. I can't. I don't know where this stuff comes from. It just comes off the top of my head. These are the heart.
But I mean, it may come from the top of your head when we're having this kind of conversation, but it's stuff that's instilled in who you are because you've spent time defining who you want to be and defining the steps you need to take to get there. So
I really believe that everybody can create the life that they want. But it's work. It takes a lot of work. And a lot of people get intimidated by the work once they understand what the work takes. I don't know about you, Leslie, but like, I was only making $24,500. I had to pay rent. I had to pay car payment, all of this stuff, and I was like, I don't think I'm gonna be buying a $200,000 car. Like, that wasn't even in my realm of thinking because of the circumstances that I was in. So when we're in our circumstances, we might not be able to think bigger than where we are.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say how much I make, but let's just say, definitely glad I don't have kids. Definitely glad I am at home. But yeah, I mean,
and there's a lot of people that are young that are making good money and decent money, so they feel like they're in a place to where they can start making those decisions. And I would.
And I mean, that's fine and all.
Yeah.
That's fine. I mean, I have like, I don't know, like I don't have a brand new car, but my car is it's a nice car. I don't pay too much gas. I'm big chilling. Like, I really can't complain. Like, I'm just like, I'm not living day by day, so thankfully. But definitely, yeah, I'm not out here balling. Not even on a budget.
Hey, I'll tell you, I was going out, like, I was going out with my friends. Like, I would, I would have my little $20 to do what I wanted to do that night or whatever. But yeah. I mean, and now that was kind of a transition too. Is that, like, I was at the beginning of my career, I guess, after grad school, Like I was doing the same things that I would have been doing if I was in school, right? But then when I started seeing, I was like, man, this ain't how it's supposed to be. I don't want to live like this.
Right.
I was like, I'm not going out anymore. Like I'm changing all of this. So now after this has been almost 7 years now, almost 8 years of studying success and holding my and sacrificing, like uh going on trips and doing these different things, like all the people that are around me that have money. Um, that now I'm transitioning into enjoyment of what I have. So yeah, I can still work hard and I can play hard, for lack of better words, and not play hard, but like I can combine the two, and that's the transition I'm in. I'm like, that's why it's so lovely on the other side. Like I can work hard and not have any dependence or responsibilities besides myself, and to get on my motorcycle and just go. And that's a lovely freeing thing. And I can buy any accessory that I want. I love it.
You're living your best life.
And it's so lovely. And people get jealous of me. Well, this and they like to make excuses. You have to cut out all that noise. The people like to make excuses for your circumstances, and people don't understand. And I try not to get upset and snap back a little bit. But these were all choices that I made that led me to this point. So you can't fault me for the choices that I made and for living the best life and making excuses for why you don't live like me or like you want to live. Like it ain't even just me. So any final words? Go ahead.
Well, I think our advice to students is starting now, whether you're watching this as a ninth grader or 12th grader or whatever, starting now, start making decisions that will intentionally get you where you eventually want to be. Knowing that at 16 or 18 years old, you might not know the exact details of what you want, but you can certainly identify some details that you don't want. And you can identify some really broad goals, whether those are broad financial goals or family goals or career goals, whatever those goals are, you can start to identify those. And then taking the intentional steps to make those happen. I think that's really good advice, no matter what your age. I have some fairly new goals in my life, even at my age and in my position. So I have to, if I have a goal to publish a book, I can't just say, oh, yeah, that's my goal. I have to regularly, intentionally do some things that are going to get me to that goal. So that means I have to write regularly. That means I have to set aside time that maybe I would do something else and not do that and focus on my writing. So I think that's our advice to our students is, if you have this goal, you have to start putting in the work to make that goal your reality. And usually you can make those choices. I mean, there are circumstances beyond your control, but most of the time you can choose to study for a test or do your homework or fill out your FAFSA or apply for college. You can make those choices every day. I get that it's easier to watch YouTube videos than it is to file your FAFSA, but what are those YouTube videos going to do for you in the end? But your FAFSA could do a whole lot for you in the end. So I think just our goal with this conversation, I think, is to encourage students to just take those steps and know that, you don't have to take a leap, just a step.
A a step in the right direction. Ms. Ramirez?
I would just say it's good to have goals. It's good to, if you want to have timelines, to be disciplined, but just learn how to love life and love yourself. Um, everything changes. You'll change. Like, you know, just due to like circumstances, life throws a whole bunch of things at you. But as long as you learn how to love life, the little things, and love yourself enough to do things that that you love, and not follow into anyone else's footsteps or what they want you to become, I think you'll be fine.
Of course, take those small steps. Look at those negative things that, I mean, or just things, they may not even be negative, but things that you don't want for your life. And start with those and look at the ways that you can make choices, decisions on a micro level, which is a smaller level, to put yourself in position for it. And everything you do on a day-to-day basis, like homework, studying for tests, taking tests, filling out the FAFSA, doing those different day tasks ultimately help in the growth and your responsibility and doing what is necessary and required to get to the next step and to just reach the next step and go on to the next step. Because if you don't do those things and you want to take it, then you're really leaping for a goal, and you're stretching when you could have just took these small steps, and it wouldn't be a risk for you to pivot and go after something else or change your goal. But oftentimes we lack those basic skill sets that are necessary, and the day-to-day things, and being intentional and deliberate about what we do every day, that puts us in a bad position. And to do what you love is a gift, a treat to yourself. And there's no time limit. There's no set time period there's no 20 years magic number on how you can get there and how long it takes to get there. But just know that it doesn't happen overnight, and success is in the eye of the beholder. And thank you for joining us for this podcast. I love talking to you guys. If we were in person, we would we probably talk too much. We wouldn't get no work done.
You would, for real.